in our use case, the main challenge is to combine data from different scientific fields or disciplines. So in our case, this includes ocean interior data, data from the ocean surface obtained by satellite sensors, data from rivers, meaning how much water and what is coming in the river water into the ocean, meteorological data, what about rainfall, what about wind systems acting on the ocean, and not to forget the output of models, because models are the only tool that allows us to forecast and to make predictions what is going to happen in the future. In the coastal water dynamics use case, we have chosen the Northern Adriatic region with the Po River estuary as our testbed domain. This is a very dynamic region, and it's driven by very different forcing factors: meteorology, river discharge, ocean circulation, and interior processes, both biological and geochemical. It's really the combination of all these forcings that determine various things, such as biological productivity at the ocean surface, which affects fish stocks, the uptake of CO2 by the ocean, and the input and offshore transport of nutrients and contaminants by the river. All these impacts are highly relevant for economy and society in general. And if we really want to understand these impacts, we need to make it easy to combine and exploit the different data sets simultaneously. So it's the multidisciplinary usage of the data that is in the core of our use case. We are working with very different types of data. This includes profile data taken, for instance, by ships or by autonomous floats, the famous Argo floats, for instance. But we also have moored instruments that give us time series at given locations. And we also have so-called underway data that are taken while a ship is running between ports or given tracks. The one problem with observation is they are patchy in space and time. So we never have enough data. There are big gaps, both geographically but also temporarily. While models that I've mentioned before, their advantage is they cover the entire domain they are built for. For the formats, there's a variety of spreadsheet types. The popular NetCDF format that modelers use and the satellite community, and another format that we from the Alfred Wegener Institute are providing for the community is ODV collection format, in which large data collections can be built. So in summary, we are dealing with a very complex landscape in terms of data types, formats, but also availability is a big issue. Concerning sharing of the data, traditionally this was done by just researchers downloading data sets, thereby making their own copy and working on these data locally on the machine. Recently, more and more online usage is becoming more and more dominant. In this scenario, the data remain on dedicated servers. The analysis software runs on the server and in the user's web browser, making it much easier for users to work with data. So it's important to realize that big data sets that the community is using, they are created either by dedicated agencies. So for instance, the satellite data, they come through big agencies, either US or from Europe. The second type of data source is specialized teams of researchers from the various disciplines that aggregate data in what I would call a heroic effort. Each of these disciplines has traditional tools, procedures, and formats, and they derive from sometimes decades ago. And very often these formats, they are different for the different communities. What's also difficult is standardization is often missing because decisions have been made really long time ago when no standards existed, and basically each discipline was making its own decision. This is especially obvious when looking at metadata extent, and the type of metadata varies drastically between the disciplines. I mentioned the non-standardized way that most of the data sets are in right now, and that is one of the difficulties if you want to bring together multidisciplinary data sets. So the challenge we will have is to more standardize the important data sets and to provide easy access to the data. This also means that we will have to rethink the set and the extent of the metadata that come with the data, because more and more we realize that present data sets, we want to make sure that in maybe 20 years' time, future researchers will fully understand what these data are and where they come from, who made them, what the limitations are, all these kind of things that are documented in metadata. So we certainly have to rethink the metadata standards and do this in an overarching way, so that not only the oceanographers make a decision, but that this is coordinated among all disciplines. So this is the big challenge. When we succeed, the benefits clearly will be that data sets will become more easy to exploit, and we more easily guarantee that the future generation understands our data presently. And these data are crucial because we can think of today's data, they are the benchmarks of future data in our changing world. So in general, what we want to use in our use case is to build on existing tools, WebODV, DIVA, and Source. All of them are operational software, they are proven, they are widely used by the communities, but we want to enhance all of them to be able to use multiple discipline data sets at the same time. So for instance, for WebODV, we want to make it easy for users to study correlation between ocean biology, for instance, coming from satellites, and river discharge. DIVA, we want to produce credit climatologies for ocean parameters, but taking into account additional information such as circulation. And with Source, we want to facilitate the comparison between model and actual data. And this is the only way to assess model credibility. In addition, also, we want to establish workflows, data workflows between these three tools. This would be something that would never happen if FAIR East did not exist.